you've got questions,
we've got answers.
Tune in Tuesdays at 12 on Facebook Live and Instagram Live, where we will be hosting a variety of community experts that will answer your questions.
This is Patti Green from Century 21 Thompson Company.
Hi, it's Wendy from Crossroads Finance.
Join us to talk all things real estate.
See you then. No, you did. You always do such a great job. All right. Hi, everyone. It's Michelle.
And Jillian.
Jillian and Michelle. Okay, it's going to be one of those. I was staring at your beautiful face. I'm like, oh, it's Michelle.
I love you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's Jillian.
And Michelle.
And welcome to Tip Tuesday. And you know what? We're going to get right into it today because we have two very special guests, and they are both Beautiful Self alumna, which we absolutely love, and they are experts in their field. And we are so excited that they said yes when we asked them to come in and chat with us today about home and finance, because, you know, the truth is there's really big issues, obviously, for anyone going through treatment, and even long after. Many things are affected. It's a terrible disruption, including with home and finance, right? Because life still has to go on, even though you're going through all this long after. So we need advice from people that we trust 100%, especially in our community that understands who we are and what we go through. So we have today Patti Green, who is a survivor and realtor. Hey!
Hey, how are you?
Good. We're so happy you're here. Yay. And then we have Wendy Nastasi, who is a survivor and a licensed mortgage broker. Yay, Wendy. We're so excited you're here. We're really excited. So thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, any financial questions, please just throw them down. Let us know what you're thinking, and everyone, we will get back to you. We promise. Now, Michelle, I do have to ask you, do we have any housekeeping to do?
Well, the only thing that I really want to piggyback on what you just said, Jill, was advice from people that we trust. And I want to share with everyone out there that on our website, we have our section called Resources and Conversations. And tonight, Paula Leach is hosting a sex therapy, group therapy symposium for members of our tribe. So it's not too late to join. There are still some spots left, and you can find that on our website, and it's called Beautiful Self. And if you want to find out more about Paula, you can look at past episodes, you can meet her, and I think you'll be delighted in the results that you may get if you join that group. So please check out all of our resources, because we are here for you.
Awesome. Are you ready then?
Oh, I'm so ready for this one.
All right. I know we're going to slip in for a friend. So let's go ahead and ask Patti and Wendy. We are going to start with Patti. I got a list of questions for both of you. This is so not my area of expertise. So let's go. Patti, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. So, you know, as fighters and survivors, like, we get thrust into a lot of change, right? Everything changes. And sometimes that means you have to start over in a new place or a new home. And I think there's a lot of choice out there, obviously. So how important do you think it is to find the right realtor that understands what your needs are, but more on a personal level? Like, and if you do think that's really important, how would you go about finding a realtor that's right for you?
Okay, I definitely think it's very important to find somebody you feel comfortable with. Somebody that you feel you can be open with, because it's a very personal process, not only financially, but personally. You're going to need somebody that you feel you can trust and respects your situation. So one way to do that is to talk to friends and family for referrals of people that they've worked with and trusted and had a good experience with. Another way, if you're moving out of state or moving to another area, you can talk to your previous real estate agent. I know here at Century 21, we have offices and a network all across the United States. We're in 80 countries, so you'd be surprised how wide our net really goes. There's also real estate agents that specialize in relocation if you're moving to another area, so they can help make it a seamless transition from finding inspectors in the area to finding an area that may suit your needs for where you're at. It's also extremely important to be very clear with your agent about what's important to you. Do you want somebody that's going to give you that nudge when you're being a little resistant, or do you want somebody that's going to hear you out? Responsiveness, communication. You need to talk about your goals, what you're looking, how quickly do you want to sell? What's your why for why you're selling? And also to, what are you looking at net? What are you looking for when you're done with this? What's the bottom line that you're looking to leave the transaction?
I love that. And I do, I do think it's important. Years and years ago, this is years ago, my husband and I were looking for a home, and we were looking for like a little getaway place, going back like 10 years. And before cancer changed everything. And I remember we spent 2 years, right? 2 years going back, like 2 hours away, 4 hours away. And we had this one realtor from upstate, and she was so darling and so like, she'd be like, I'm going to be honest with you. If I can on a Sunday, if you want to come up and I'm not hitting it right, it's no problem. But everything was no problem. She never was like, you're wasting my time. You never got that feeling from her. And that is why we've stuck with her ever since, because that feeling, even though she's far away, because she gave us that feeling of safety and that she understood, and she'd know immediately if I sent her a house, she'd be like, no, you're going to hate it. It doesn't have X. Get rid of it. Right. So I do think that's really important. Exactly. And I also think there's a big emotional connection to buying or selling a house. How much of that emotion should weigh in when making a decision on buying a house? Because there's practical and there's emotional. So how much do you put to the emotional?
0.
I wasn't expecting that answer.
You need to take the emotion out of it. You have a lot of emotions that seem like they're attached to the house, but they're really attached to the memories that you've made there, the friendships, the experiences, and the things that you've gone through. The house is an object that serves you for a particular time and place in your life, and that's not necessarily forever. So I definitely think we should take it out. And that's really easy to say, isn't it?
I love that you just said that. You're right. You're absolutely right. A house is not the home. The home is where you are.
Yeah. So there's some tips for how you take the emotion out of it. And the first is to know your why. Why are you selling? Are you selling because you've outgrown the house, you need more space? Are you selling to be closer to friends and family? Are you selling because you're not making your mortgage payments? When you have that why, that's what you can keep revisiting when you're feeling, God, what am I doing? Go back to your why, because that's really going to help you out. Start the process early. Meet with the realtor early in the game, and they'll come and they'll guide you, and they'll say, what furniture are you getting rid of? Let's start getting rid of it now. Start to personalizing, taking down framed pictures of your family. If you have a statement wall, paint it a neutral color. Slowly, the house will start evolving from what you've had and you feel so attached to. And in the meantime, you're getting your house ready. So it's purposeful as well. Think about the new buyers that are going to come into the house. They're going to be excited. They're going to be really looking forward to making their own memories. You need to give that space and that positive energy to welcome people that are going to take care of the home in. And like Marie Kondo says, you thank it for what it gave to you and you let it go.
I don't know. That was okay. So now this is how you're dealing with another survivor, because you start talking about emotion and immediately I got a hot flash. And 7 years later out of treatment, I'm still getting these. I'm like, oh my God, she's right. She's right. She's talking about the house is not the home. I started getting hot. You used to turn red. So, and again, why you need someone who understands what you're going through, so they don't think you're angry that you're getting suddenly really red. Okay. Amazing. Those tips were phenomenal. So thank you. Okay. So let's move on to expectations. And I think we get in our head, especially we want XXX, YYY, ZZZ. Oh, by the way, I have an X budget. I don't have that budget, right? And so what's the process for someone to understand what they really can have versus or how to love where they're at? You know what I mean? Since if I can't have these things.
First step is meeting with a lender if you're, unless if you're paying cash. And you could be surprised what your budget actually is. The interest rates are phenomenal right now. So look at what your monthly payment is as opposed to the price of the home. Homes are top dollar right now. But with the mortgage rates, it kind of all works out in the end. So talk to your lender about what you're approved for, what your monthly payments will be, and then go to your realtor, give them your needs. For example, I need a ranch. I have elderly parents and I don't need them to be struggling every time they come over, versus your wants, that in-ground pool. Really, you can do without it. It's okay. Versus your wants, and start looking, because when you're looking online, homes are put in their most beautiful light. Real estate photography can be somewhat magical. It's when you're actually going to these houses and opening the doors and seeing what they're like with your own two eyes. That'll help put you into a more realistic expectations. That's
awesome.
Yeah, go out there.
Awesome tips. Okay, awesome tips. So let me ask you the final question, because this is amazing. Since we go through so a lot of stress as fighters and survivors, and we're you're starting to think, what do I want to do? Do I want to move? I don't know. Do I have to move? What's happening? Is it better to rent and stay put until we're absolutely 100 sure of where we're going to be, or, of what we want to do? Because all these emotions cause these upheavals. So we're like, sell, rent, do this. Like, we get a little crazy.
Yeah, I think about your why. If you want to sell right now just because you're going to make, you're going to get top dollar for your house, well, if you're staying in the area, you're going to be paying top dollar too. So think about your why. Do you need to downsize? Are you looking to lower your taxes and move out of state? This could be a great time. If you're renting in an urban area, this could be a good time to negotiate your rent, because landlords are going to be very, very, very happy to keep you. So it really depends on your why and where you are.
Great advice, Patti. Thank you so much for your time. Will you do me a favor? When you're done, will you go in and drop your information in the chat so people can find you easily? That would be.
Because Patti, you're a realtor. Where are you located?
So I'm based out of Red Bank. I service Monmouth, Ocean, and Middlesex counties. And, I'm always here to help anybody in the community. If you have a question, no matter where you live or where you're looking, I have an open ear.
Girl, that's my old stomping ground. I used to work at the downtown cafe when it was like this one-room bar. Michelle and I, and we're going to talk later, okay? It was the 90s. It was a very good time.
Very good.
Well, thank you, so much, Patti. Yeah, we're going to talk. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. That was amazing. Thank you. And now we have Miss Wendy. Wendy, I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. I have for you too a whole list of questions here. And you are a licensed mortgage broker, right?
Correct.
That is your title. And just want to acknowledge that we love your hair. We said that up front, but we're going to keep going with it because it is amazing. Now, all right. I'm going to start with this because this is all very personal. So, we know that having cancer presents a lot of financial challenges, right? Even with health insurance, the bills we get are ridiculous. So can you give us some tips on how to protect your credit score when going through financial hardship?
Absolutely. And I think, up until this point in time, we focused on what's happening to people with cancer, and that's catastrophic. But now we have an entire world who's going through catastrophic financial problems due to COVID. Mm-hmm. So it's a good time to look at that. And if we refer back to the saying, stealing from Peter to pay Paul, there's a little juggling. I know Michelle talks about juggling all the time. There's a little juggling that you can do if you're having a minor stress, like, You're just falling short. Timing is everything. If you're going to pay something late, if you keep it within 30 days, it's not going to report on your credit report. So once you go over that 30-day late payment, it starts to show up and it starts to affect your credit score negatively. If you are 60 days late, it's going to be even worse. So the timing does play. And if you have to make a choice, am I going to pay JCP&L $150, or am I going to make that minimum credit card payment of $150? One of them can wait. I'll have the money next week. Go for the credit card, because JCP&L is not going to turn you off for being 30 days late. They're going to start calling you and asking for money, but it's not going to affect your credit score. So if it's the same $150, if you can allocate it to something that's going to report on your credit report and it will help you to maintain your credit score, that's great. If things start to get more overwhelming, as far as you're not making mortgage payments now, I mean, it's not just deciding who to pay first. Now you have to start really reaching out to all of your creditors and have the conversations with them. They're there to help you make these payments. They may not always be nice when they start calling you and asking you for money, but if you reach out to them and you connect with them, they can put you into forbearance programs where you don't have to make all of your mortgage payment or part of your mortgage payment, and it won't affect your credit score. It will affect your credit because it will show that you're not making your timely payments, but it will not hit the score because you're doing something that's in agreement with your creditor. So we always have to let the creditors know what's happening. Call them up and say, I have cancer, or I have health problems. That you don't have to tell them what's wrong with you, but say, I'm running into problems. What can we do? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to offer you something. And
I think that calling, like you're saying, but it's also very hard.
Absolutely.
And to pick up the phone and call, it's an awkward feeling.
It's uncomfortable for someone who's used to being able to pay their bills. For example, I tried to plan for all of my out-of-pocket expenses during treatment, and we have our co-pays, and everybody's like, yep, the co-pay, the 50, blah, blah, blah. Then you get to radiation.
Yeah.
Radiation is a co-pay every day for 33 consecutive days. We may not understand that that's coming up. So another part of keeping your financial stuff together when you're sick is ask those questions. What are my copays going to be if I take this option of treatment? We don't want to put a price tag on treatment, but we need to be prepared for it.
You're right. And I think that we don't ask or speak up enough. And I can tell you, like, recently I have to have, it's just a minor procedure. It's nothing, not even cancer related, but I didn't ask. And, then the bill comes and it's like, well, your portion of the bill is like, $1,900. I'm like, whoa. Because they're like, insurance covers it. So you think that, but no, I mean, as survivors, one of the conversations that we always have is that the bills never stop coming in. You're like, when does this end? So right. I think that you're right to chat about it and to,
Well, the creditors just want to know that you acknowledge you still owe them the money and that you're going to be doing your best to pay them back. And as far as medical bills, when you're talking about those kind of phone calls, they will accept almost nothing to keep that account. Just that you want to send them $5 a month, you can send them $5 a month, but they have to know that that's what you want to do. Okay. And then they'll work with you.
Okay. And what I'm hearing from you is communicate.
Yeah.
Communicate. Okay. So here's one that's kind of like around the ballpark, only because it's such a hot topic right now. And that is, how do we know when and if, and, like we can and should refinance? Because that seems to be a hot topic right now.
Well, refinancing, obviously this is huge right now, and I've been working around the clock 7 days a week to try and accommodate everybody, because there's not a lot of places to save money right now in this economy. And if you can lower your interest rate and keep the same mortgage, and now you're saving $200 a month, let's do it. But the numbers don't lie. So we have to look at the mortgage statement and we have to see how much do you owe and how much is it going to cost you to refi. Approximately $3,000 on most loans. We roll that money into the loan amount. However, it's still there. So if you're saving $300 a month and it's costing you $3,000 for the process, then we know that in 10 months, you're saving all the money that you spent to do it and you've broken even. And now every month after that, you're making $300 a month.
Mhm.
But if it's only saving you $87 a month and it's costing you $3,500 and you want to leave that house in 2 to 3 years, now you're upside down, even though you have a lower rate and you have a lower payment, but you spent all this money to refi and you're not breaking even. So that's one of the things that Patti said that I also incorporate into my conversations with people is, what's your goal? Are you relocating to South Carolina in 5 years? Or are you going to die in this house? Because that's a lot of people say, they're carrying me out of this house in a box.
They're lifers, right? The lifers, we call them.
Exactly. So if that's the case, then yes, you will save money and you will keep the loan for a long period of time and it will make sense. But what you have to make sure is, are the numbers in your favor? Because there are people out there that will refinance you and it looks like you're being put into a better position, but you're not. So you just need to know, what are the costs? What am I saving? And how do I feel about the new payment? The new payment's important.
Again, that's why I think it's important to be with people you trust. Like, you know, like if I was going to do something, I would come to you. I trust you. I know you're going to tell me the truth, steer me in the right direction, because I think, you know, when you look online or even on TV or wherever, it's like, you know, don't worry, no job, 0 down payment, we're going to refinance you, you know? And of course, people feel they get taken advantage of. And I think that our community, unless you're very lucky, does get put in very vulnerable positions due to the extreme medical bills and care that we need to have. So
Right.
having said that, Michelle, I'm sorry, did you? Oh, I thought I saw a message. Okay, got it. I saw a little message thing pop up. All right. So Wendy, let me keep going then. So for those of us, because this is, you know, it's a lot of paperwork, everything's paperwork. So for those of us who are not great at paperwork, like Michelle, oh my God, she asked me to go to her house the other day. Like, she's like, make a left, go into the 3rd gray cabinet. Now you will see 5 photos back. Go, there should be a name. It was like James Bond. It was so like brilliant. You come to my house, you're gonna be like, whoa, I can't walking through this shit show. Right? Sorry. Too much. So if you aren't great at paperwork, right? Handling all of our medical paperwork and bills is very overwhelming. Now you've got to add in this new influx of, say, financial paperwork, mortgage paperwork, whatever it might be. How do you really not get overwhelmed to make sure that you're keeping the best records possible? Because it's really about the record keeping, I think.
Yes. Well, I would suggest, I mean, there's all different shades of gray of organization between Michelle and Jillian. Okay. So it really has to be a system that works for you. I prefer like the expandable folders that I can put different sections. So for medical, being a cancer patient, I have a whole separate expandable folder just for medical, because I do get so much paperwork on different things and it all goes into one place. I have a separate expandable folder for business bills because I own a business. I have one for personal. So I'm very organized on those expandable folder type things. And you can be, but you can also be the person who throws everything in a bread basket, as long as you have one bread basket for something that you're trying to keep separate from something else. So you don't have to open all the envelopes. You don't have to read all the mail, because that can be overwhelming and extremely depressing if you're not able to pay those bills. Right. But put them in the same place so that if someone calls you up and says, Jillian, I need you to find that explanation of benefits or that bill or that mortgage payment from blah, 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 at least you have a general area where to go. And then you can sort through it when you get to the right basket. But don't put everything together. Try to separate, at least, just like Marie Kondo? Is that her name? You put everything in likes when you're organizing. And believe me, it helps. You don't have to read everything. You don't have to put it in a file folder. It doesn't have to be James Bond, but just generally keep them in different areas.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because like my husband is very much like Michelle. Like they have the records from 23 years ago on what someone said or did in an email at 12:23 on 1/7, you know, on these dates. And like, all I have to do is ask her, like, really, let me pull that up. Right. So I can't, you know, so I like that. So just being a little bit more organized and keeping likes with like and all that good stuff. Yeah. Now, if all else fails, right, and someone finds themselves considering bankruptcy, right? So if we get into trouble, can you give us an idea of how that may look as an option?
Sure, absolutely. So someone who's considering bankruptcy is at the point in which they cannot keep up with the amount of bills that are coming in compared to the amount of money that they have or assets that they have. So when you file bankruptcy, it puts an immediate stop to all the phone calls, which when you're going through a catastrophic illness, the phone calls are just overwhelming and very, very, negative. So that stops immediately. No bill collectors can call you while you're under bankruptcy protection. And then you can do two different kinds of personal bankruptcy. One can pay off all your bills and now you have a completely clean slate. But if you're not okay with that and you just need a little reorganization, there's another type of bankruptcy where you can just put all your bills together in one place, and then there's a trustee that says, okay, we're not going to accrue any more interest on these bills. We're just going to let you make installments until you're all paid off. That's two different kinds. Now, if you go through these, what happens to your credit score? Everybody always gets so afraid because we went to school and they said everything's going to be on your permanent record forever. Well, it's not a permanent record forever. It's there, but as time goes on and we heal, so does credit. So credit heals with time. So if you had a late in January of 2021, by January of 2022, it's less heavy on your credit score. If you had a bankruptcy by the same token in 2021, by 2028, it's not going to affect you at all anymore credit score wise, unless you continue to have problems with your credit. But going forward, you do have a clean slate. You have people not calling you anymore. Is it something that anybody wants to do? No. But in order to sometimes keep a business or keep your car or keep your house, that may be the only way. And the only person that can make that decision is you, but the only person that can advise you is, an attorney.
I love it. Now, that's great advice. And Wendy, where can we find you? I know you're super busy right now, but where can we find you?
I am in New Jersey, in Pompton Plains. I'm licensed in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Great. And always available online. So I'll drop my contact information into the program as well. But I'm always here just to help people. So even if I can't help you, I'll put you on a path. And working with me helps you go to someone like Patti to be able to find the house that you want at the payment that you want. And there's no emotion once you know all the nuts and bolts of it.
Oh, I love it. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much. This was such a really good, informative segment. So thank you, ladies, for coming. Michelle, do you have anything to add before we sign off?
Not at all. It's just so wonderful to see you both, really.
Yeah. I love our community.
Love our girls.
I love it. I love it. So listen, everyone, next week, we are going to actually have a Stay Flat, we're going to call them Stay Flat panel, talking about pros, cons, things that have happened in that world. So we're excited to have them, and we want to thank you two for coming. Thanks, everyone for listening and join us. As always, stay strong, stay positive. You are beautiful. We love you, and we will see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys. Bye.